about to get a cat on a table. Yup. Hi. You helping? Hey y'all, it's Alirien, and today we are reading tarot for the 2025 season of Lughnasadh, also known as Lammas, or the first harvest. As being the first harvest indicates, this is when we begin working in the fields again to reap whatever has survived up until this point of the year and start turning our attention to preparing not only for the autumn, but the winter beyond. It's also when we start making decisions about what to take now as a harvest, what to let stay in the ground a little bit longer, what to work with a little bit longer and see to fruition before the end of the year, and start considering what may not actually end up being fruitful and thus needs to be left to the wayside to reinvigorate the soil for next year's planting. All a bunch of metaphor, of course. As it is Leo season, we will be beginning with Leo and ending with Cancer, and we will be following our usual format for these tarot videos, where we read 3 cards plus the bottom of the deck from a Waite Smith style deck. In this case, it is the Moon Crystal Tarot by Alexandra Aquilina, all inspired by Sailor Moon, and 1 card from an oracular style deck, in this case the Animal Spirit Oracle, which is a new deck, so I'm excited to work with it for this video. As always, before we get into shuffling, please remember to take what resonates and leave what does not, even if the reading that feels closest to you is not for your sun sign, or you come to this video in a season other than Lughnasadh or after 2025. Remember that I do offer personal tarot readings through my website, AlirienCosplay.com. that start at $8 per reading, depending on what kind of reading it is. And one last thing, if you enjoyed the video today and you have not done so already, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. I'm hoping to reach 500 subs by the end of the year, and we're almost halfway there. All of that said, let's go ahead and shuffle and pull our cards for the first reading of Leo. Time codes for all the rest of the readings, if you wish to skip ahead, are below in the description and should be marked on the timeline as well, though I do encourage you to watch the entire video because you never know which readings might have inspirational bits that you need to take heed of. Pulled for Lughnasadh, the 7 of Cups in reverse, the 8 of Wands in reverse, the 5 of Wands reversed, the Ace of Swords, and your animal spirit cards are Firefly and Bat, which are both associated with air. There's an overarching need for clarity in the face of delay and obstacle. And not only needing clarity, but when you have moments of clarity, acting on them as soon as possible instead of letting yourself fall back into the mental and emotional tendencies you've had thus far lately. The 7 of Cups is a card of illusion. It warns you, it's the quote from Tolkien, not all that glitters is gold. It's warning you that whatever choices you are presented with right now, some of them seem too good to be true, and it likely is because they are too good to be true and they're not worth your time. The 8 of Wands indicates that there has been delay or obstacle on your path, and it could be that the options you're faced with are ways to get around these obstacles, and some of them seem like they're going to be really quick and easy and pay off really well, but they could amount more to sloppy shortcuts that are going to hurt you more than help you in the long run. Inverted 5 of Wands is a card of conflict, and particularly when inverted, it indicates that you are avoiding conflicts. When competition gets particularly serious, you are more wired toward just walking away and trying not to deal with it instead of engaging and confronting whatever it is. It's at the detriment of not realizing that some of this competition, some of these conflicts and confrontations are actually going to be really beneficial to you, and it's something that you will have to fight through in order to be better and to reach your goal. And the Ace of Swords is kind of on the flip side. It's that sudden reset mentally, that new burst of clarity and that fresh mind that can really look at the situation and better judge which decisions to make in what ways in order to best reach your goal. The Firefly and the Bat both play on the energy of the Ace of Swords here. They emphasize that from the Bat that you need to be adaptable. You need to not let every single obstacle or delay or potential conflict that comes up derail you from continuing to pursue your goal and manifest whatever it is you're wanting in your life. The Firefly, similarly, signifies, again, clarity or inspiration that can appear with very little warning, but if you don't take advantage of it when you have it, it'll dissipate as these moments of clarity, these bursts of energy, and moments where you figure out, okay, that's how I can get past this without trying to cut corners, but I'll just do it tomorrow. You can't think like that. There's no better time than now to do any of the steps. Follow those bursts of energy and let yourself look at all angles of something before you really decide. You don't want to make a decision too hastily, but once you have that moment of realizing, okay, that's the step that needs to be taken, that's the way I need to go, do it. Because if you wait too long, it's going to be like you're taking 5 steps back. Virgo has drawn for Lammas the 8 of Swords, the inverted Hanged Man, the Devil inverted, the Ace of Swords, and the Spirit Animal card of the Beaver. Virgo's been feeling stuck, but the stuckness, however you got there, is continuing at the very least because you are not taking steps that are right in front of you to get out of whatever you're dealing with. The 8 of Swords indicates this. You're feeling stuck, you're feeling trapped, and in some ways maybe you are, but some of what's limiting you is your own mentality. If you slow down, not panic, and really examine the situation, you'd see a very simple and clear solution to getting out of this situation and into a better one. The Hanged Man, likewise, indicates that there's some serious stubbornness and perhaps even selfishness that's preventing you from seeing the solutions right there in front of you and reframing it, fixing your perspective, refreshing your idea of the situation. You're on the right track though. The Devil inverted says that there is some bad habit, some obsession or dependency that you have recognized is not healthy and that you need to get away from. The work now involves taking all of those steps to get away from it. Recognizing is the first thing that needs to be done, and that's great. But now you need to keep working at it. It's not going to be comfortable, it might not be pretty, but it is necessary. Now that you've recognized it, much like Leo, once you have that clarity, you need to take hold of it and run with it. You, likewise, with the Ace of Swords and that burst of clarity and that moment of realizing this is what I need to do and now I need to do it. Not only do you need to take hold of that and start, you need to keep working on it as well. The Beaver indicates that whatever task is at hand, whatever goal you're working toward, requires steady, constant, dedicated work in order to reach your goal. This isn't something that you really can keep stopping and starting, because if you stop working at it, you risk falling back into the situation you're working so hard to get out of. So now that you recognize the problem, take those steps that can be taken each and every day until things are better. Libra, your Lughnasadh reading is the Fool, the inverted Sister of Swords, the reversed Three of Wands, the Empress, and the Hummingbird. Libra's on a positive track, and these two inverted cards really are just serving as a few reminders to keep in the back of your head as you take this new journey. The Fool, of course, being the start of this journey, of this path for you. You are staring down the barrel of a new road that you want to take, and you're excited and enthusiastic, and nothing is going to stop you from taking this journey and pursuing this goal. You know the potential obstacles and the potential downfalls that may occur as you do this, and you have worries and fears, but you're not letting those things stop you. The main takeaway from the Fool is to make sure that your enthusiasm doesn't blind you to potential obstacles and potential consequences of your actions. The Sister of Swords, while inverted, wants you to be mindful of being too hasty in how you speak and how you act, and wants you to make sure that there is not only purpose but kindness behind your words and your actions, especially any words or thoughts toward yourself or anything you say to or about other people. The inverted Three of Wands wants you to make sure that you have a plan forward, that you're not letting any obstacles you encounter cause you to lose faith that you will reach your goal. And not only that you will reach your goal, but that everything will work out by the time you reach that goal, and that it will be worth the struggle and the effort to have gotten there. The Empress is a comforting card. She's a nurturing card. She's a very motherly energy. As I said, she's the embodiment of nurturing compassion. She lets you know that you are not going down this journey alone. You have at least one person in your life who has this very soft and warm, compassionate, nurturing, loving embrace that you can turn to whenever you need some comfort. Whether or not this person shares the journey with you or is simply there to cheer you on, you are not only being guided but being energized by this other person. And lastly, the hummingbird is intelligent and curious. It's bright and enthusiastic. It's ever seeking to learn more. And I think the Fool and the hummingbird both are embodying you at the start of this journey. There are definitely dangers out there for you as you start this new path, hummingbird, but you know what you are capable of. You know that you can learn to be capable of more, and you feel that this goal and the journey to it are far more important than anything that might get in your way or try to stop you. Thus, you are fully capable of achieving this goal and of achieving it in such a way that you can be proud of. Just need to be mindful that you don't let any unforeseen obstacles sway you from believing you can reach it or believing that you are worthy. Scorpio, you have drawn the Empress, the inverted Four of Pentacles, the inverted Jovian of Pentacles, the inverted Amazon of Wands, and the Firefly. I think there are two versions of this reading, depending on who you are, Scorpio. Either you are the Empress and have been doing so much for others that you've forgotten to take care of yourself, thus you are burnt out. Or if you're not normally someone that the Empress might represent, then it is simply that you need whoever that is in your life to help you take a break. Either way, she is telling you, you need to take care of yourself. You need to eat, you need to shower, you need to sleep, and a full night's sleep, not just a nap every few hours. You need to eat, but you need to eat good quality food. You can't survive on coffee and a dream. You are burned out. You're exhausted. It's causing you to act in very stressful ways that I don't think are normal for you. Basically, all three of these cards inverted. These two, the two Pentacles cards, the Four and the Jovian, point to greediness and stinginess. These two, the Jovian of Pentacles, the Amazon of Wands, point to an impulsiveness and anger and recklessness. You're tired, so you're moody, so you're angry, so you're resenting everything and everyone around you. You need a break, and you need to take proper care of yourself. Whether or not that entails you being the Empress or finding someone who is the Empress to help you with that, you desperately need to take care of yourself and take a break before someone gets hurt by more than just words. And I think that break needs to involve doing something creative. I think you need to, if you already have a creative hobby, make time to engage in it more regularly, whether that's writing, journaling, poetry, music, dance, art. Maybe you enjoy throwing pottery, whatever the case may be. There's some sort of creative hobby that you've gotten out of practice with. And I think you will find that if you make the time to start practicing it again, it might help give you enough of a break away from whatever you're working on that you feel more energized and balanced as you continue pursuing whatever it is. But take a real break. Sagittarius has drawn the High Priestess, the inverted Two of Cups, the Ten of Cups in reverse, the Ace of Swords inverted, the inverted Fool, and the Otter. Two very different stories between the two card sets. The High Priestess is a card of your inner voice, your intuition, wisdom. It's trusting yourself to know ultimately what is best for you in whatever context, whatever it entails. Thinking you're needing to get better at listening to that inner voice in order to correct what's going on here or navigate. The inverted Two of Cups is imbalance or disharmony. Inverted Ten of Cups is broken family, bad relationships, some sort of shattered dream. The inverted Ace of Swords and the Fool both, the inverted Ace of Swords and inverted Fool both point to recklessness. There's a confusion to the Ace and acting before thinking to the Fool. I think you're perhaps distraught over how your current way to whatever you're working on has gone so far, and it's affected your mood about it, understandably. But you're letting those emotions sully your choices in how you continue to move toward it. You've either fallen into a going with the motions that's a bit blander, or you're making unnecessary changes to how you approach this that are making it worse. You're not acting like yourself, basically. You're putting no thought into how you act. You're just kind of doing. And I think the High Priestess working with the Otter here, because the Otter is an unbridled joy. It's one of it's one of, if not the happiest card in this animal spirit deck. It's joy and contentment and being able to play, not taking oneself too seriously. You essentially need to kind of have a talk with your inner child about this. Sit back and find the ways to make whatever your goal or your path right now is, make it fun again. Make it something you can enjoy, rather than finding all the ways to make excuses for why this or that isn't working, or why you can't do it, yada yada yada. Find the ways to make it fun for yourself. Because if you're not having fun and you're not enjoying what you're doing, what's the point? Find the fun and follow that intuition. And I think all of these things will start to turn up right again. Capricorn, you have pulled for Lughnasadh the Devil, the Magician, the Five of Wands, the Hermit inverted, the Eight of Cups, and the Lion out of balance. I think Capricorn, like Sagittarius, is taking itself too seriously right now. And more so, I think Capricorn perhaps has been a little too isolated. The Devil, as mentioned earlier in the video with one of the other readings, is a card of dependency or obsession, sometimes addiction. There's some sort of habit that you are tied to that is acting as an obstacle to yourself. This could be a thought pattern, this could be a physical behavior, it could be a relationship, but there's something about your daily, weekly, monthly lifestyle that just is not working. It might not have ever been working, but it's more apparent than ever now that it's holding you back from achieving something you're after. The Magician says you are fully capable with what you have at your disposal right now, both physically and within yourself, skill and talent-wise. You are fully capable of breaking out of this habit and stepping away and starting to make progress away from it, and make better progress on your goals after having lost whatever this dependency is. The Five of Wands is a card of conflict, and it can have one of two meanings. It can either indicate that the conflict is unnecessary because a peaceable discussion and solution could potentially be found without the need to fight, or it tells you that this conflict and this disagreement could be serving to make you need to take a step back in order to look at a bigger picture and find a solution. There is conflict, and I think this is internal. I think this is you with you. It's the you that is tied to this habit or dependency, not wanting to let go, conflicted with the you that realizes that it's not healthy and needs to be put away. And obviously we want the latter to be the winner here. How can we do that? Well, again, realizing we have everything we need at our disposal. The inverted Hermit, especially in line with the Lion being inverted, you're too alone. You need to spend more time with friends and family and engage in society. Stop getting stuck in your own head so much. Talk to other people. No matter how ridiculous you feel, bringing some things up to other people or bringing certain kinds of things up to people that you've perhaps never opened that kind of discussion with before, you need to talk to people. You need to talk to the people you trust most, who you know love you more than anybody else. And you need to feel comfortable talking with them about whatever's going on. Get out of that comfort zone, because being stuck and complacent in a comfort zone is how you ended up with this bad habit and whatever this obsession is. Get out of your own head. Get out of your little cave. Be part of the world again. Engage with your friends and your family and talk to people about what's going on. No matter how uncomfortable you are talking about anything. The Eight of Cups, likewise, is a card that no matter how safe or comfortable a situation feels, we often need to get out of our comfort zones in order to grow and progress and find a better comfort zone somewhere in the great beyond. The Lion, as I said earlier, is a card that you've been taking yourself far too seriously and have been too withdrawn. You need to spend time with other people. You need to loosen up, have some fun, find the fun in things, and find ways to engage with other people and just let loose. Yes, you are fully capable of doing all of the things you do and reaching all of the things you want to reach, and you are capable. That doesn't mean you can't let go and have a little bit of silly fun every now and then. And it doesn't mean you can't laugh at yourself when you're being silly. Aquarius, you have drawn for Lammas the Three of Wands, the Amazon of Pentacles, the Lovers, Four of Swords, and the Dolphin. You have a long road ahead, perhaps a tedious one as well. Multiple of your cards point to a need for dedication, a need to take your time. The Four of Swords in particular, a need to rest right now and take a bit of a break before continuing. Whatever goal you are pursuing right now, Aquarius, it's not gonna happen tomorrow. And I think you're well aware of this, that it's going to be a longer and slower journey to reach this goal. But sometimes those longer term goals that we work toward are much more worthwhile, especially because we've been patient and we've put in the work consistently all the way through to reach them. The longer it takes, the bigger the payoff, right? The Three of Wands is a card indicating that, you know, you've mostly just started. You're not right at square one, but you haven't quite gotten halfway either. You're well on your way toward this goal, and you're working with some diligence, and you just need to keep in mind that, you know, this is only the beginning. I've got a long way to go, but that's okay. I just gotta keep going. The Amazon of Pentacles, similarly, it's dedication to that hard work for the sake of the payoff, and knowing that all of that hard work will be worth it in the end. The Lovers is a card of harmony, of balance, of partnership. It can also be a card of decisions, indicating that there could be an important choice to be made in the not so distant future regarding how things are handled here, and potentially also indicating that there are others that are willing and able to work with you to help you achieve this goal. You need only ask, and in some cases this may be, you know, favor for me, favor for you situation. Other times it might ask for nothing in return, depends on the person and the situation. But you have people available around you to help, and whatever decisions, as long as you stay dedicated to doing the work and reaching the goal, however long it takes, you will ultimately make the right decision, I firmly believe. Four of Swords, as I said, is a card of rest and rejuvenation. Remember to take breaks. Don't be so dedicated to reaching the goal that you work yourself ragged. You need to take breaks when your body says so. You need to eat, take care of yourself, all of that good stuff. We do have the Dolphin, which upside down indicates to me that the Dolphin's essence is out of balance a little bit. And that tells me that you're not quite truly fathoming just how capable you are at whatever you set your mind to. You're doubting your ability a little bit. And whatever has made you feel smaller and less capable in life, it is perhaps time for you, and maybe reaching this goal is going to help with that, but you need to get out of that mentality. It is time for you to truly recognize just how much you can do, how much you know, how many skills and talents you possess, and really make the most of all of that to reach this goal. You are absolutely capable of doing this. Don't let the journey feel so slow that it bogs you down. Stay focused on doing the work and you will get there. Pisces, you have pulled for Lammas the Wheel of Fortune inverted, the Five of Wands, the Ace of Swords, the inverted Hermit, the Moth, and the Hawk. Pisces, I think, is feeling stagnant or has been stagnant. Perhaps you've been through a period of misfortune or you sense one oncoming. For all intents and purposes, you're stuck. Whether or not you actually can't do anything about your situation right now and don't know what to do with yourself in the meantime, or you feel like you can't do anything because you just haven't been, there are ways out of it in front of you now. Either the way is clearing and this is your guidance to find that way forward, or there was always an available path and you simply need to see it now. The Five of Wands is a card of conflict, of disagreement, competition often. And I'm almost wondering if it's some internal conflict brought on by a sense of competition, a sense of needing to be better than others that came before you or who are in the same field. And I think there's a sense of unhealthy competition and maybe feeling too much like you're fighting an uphill battle in order to achieve whatever you're currently after. The Ace of Swords hopefully is giving you a bit of clarity, helping you see that really there's not that much that you need to fight against. The current's not that strong, and anyone who came before you or who is in the same field likely is going to give you more insight and aid into various ways that you could approach this to help the goal be reached sooner and better, rather than feeling like you just have to outright compete with everybody. Maybe your field is such that you've been led to believe that it's highly competitive, when ultimately it's less needing to reach a finish line first and more waiting for the tide to rise for all the ships to be able to sail, if you get the metaphor. The Hermit inverted can indicate one of two things as well. Either you've been isolating too much and you need to get out of your own head and try interacting perhaps with other people in this field. Maybe I'm putting a bit too much of my own personal spin of being in social media and on YouTube and such, so I'm kind of framing it this way in my mind, but maybe there are other creators that you could reach out to collaborate in order for both of your audiences to grow. Maybe there's a project that you're trying to get done, but you're starting to realize you can't do it all by yourself. Who else might have better knowledge of some of the skills or techniques and might be able to take some of the work off your hands or show you how to do it or give you ideas of where to get materials and tools that you need, and oh, don't bother paying this much for this tool, here's a less expensive option that does all the same work. You know what I mean? There's a community you can reach out to for help. At the same time, there is perhaps, or rather on the other side of the coin, there is perhaps too much external noise clouding your judgment on this issue. You could perhaps have too many individuals telling you how you need to do things differently in order to succeed, when what you're currently doing isn't necessarily not succeeding. It just might not be where you thought it would be by now. Maybe this is a slower journey and you're starting to come to terms with that in your head, but this field has one of those natures that makes you feel like if you're not moving fast, then you may as well not be moving at all. I think there could be a combination. You could have too much of the wrong noise and not enough of the right noise. You need some clarity. You need to perhaps hush all of the voices telling you what you need to do and listen more to the voices that are telling you what you can do, what you could do. Here's something that might work. That ultimately you do need to do what feels right for you. And know that sometimes, even in spite of your best efforts, things might not always work out right away. That doesn't mean you should stop trying. Kind of in line with not knowing which side of the coin the Hermit is falling on, and maybe it's both. The Moth and the Hawk are almost opposite sides of the situation here as well. The Moth is impulsive, hasty, and wishful, can be enthusiastic and whimsical, but often idealizes others or is jittery. The Hawk is watchful, all-seeing, often a messenger of the divine. It sees much very clearly and is highly intuitive, but often sees too much and becomes suspicious. Together they indicate that you simply need to focus on finishing a project. Don't worry about if it's what anyone else thinks is important right now. Don't worry about if it fits the timeline or the plan that anyone else has given you or that you've even given yourself. You need to finish a project, and as you finish that project, I think you'll be able to feel your perspective shifting and better lining up with what your original goal and intention was, and thus helping you stay better on track to reaching that goal and reaching it in the way that is best for you. Because it doesn't matter how many other people are involved in this field. It doesn't matter which of those people or how many of those people are telling you one thing versus another and which advice is good or bad. Somewhere along the way, you need to choose a middle. Choose what works for you and stick to that. Don't be too impulsive. Don't sit back too much either. I think ultimately what's called for here is some balance while you wait for the way to clear and for things to feel like they're moving again. Aries, you have drawn the Six of Cups, the Jovian of Swords in reverse, the Ace of Wands inverted, the Wheel of Fortune inverted, and the Firefly. Whatever situation Aries is dealing with right now, I think has tainted your view of interactions with others. You seem to be stuck in a mentality of trying to find every little way that you can benefit from interactions and from situations. Possibly because you've been too surrounded by or dealt too much with someone who acts that way. So anytime they do something for others, there are strings attached. And maybe you've been led to believe that this is just how the world works and how you should act. Or you've fallen into mimicking that from too much exposure. Maybe you're stressed out and so you don't feel as able to just do for others without asking for a favor in return. The Six of Cups is a card of kindness, of generosity. And it's the kind of generosity that does so for the sake of itself. It doesn't ask for favors to be returned. It doesn't consider debts. It just does. It's kindness for no reason other than being kind. The rest of these cards tell a very different story. The inverted Jovian of Swords is manipulative, cruel, and critical. The inverted Ace of Wands is lacking of energy and passion. It is bored. The inverted Wheel of Fortune is stagnation or bad luck. I'm leaning toward the stagnation. I think whatever has led you into this state, you've lost your drive. You've lost sight of what inspired you down this road toward your current goal. And that in turn has you feeling off kilter. You're feeling lost and you're acting toward yourself or others in ways that aren't normal and aren't becoming of you. You're struggling to reignite that inspiration and find a way forward again. The Six of Cups is also a card of nostalgia and reunion. And I'm wondering if there's an interaction from your past that is meant to help with inspiring, but for whatever reason you can only seem to linger on regrets surrounding it. You, like some of the other signs, might be stuck in your own head a little bit too much. Maybe you're lingering on the things you regret or things that didn't go well in your past, rather than focusing on the happier memories and the things that you can learn from these memories and this reunion coming up. Because I think those happy memories and this reunion and that nostalgia are meant to help re-inspire you to keep moving forward. You've stagnated because I think you've misinterpreted something. When you do have those sparks of inspiration, Firefly says, are going to come, it urges you to not ask questions, don't hesitate, just when you do feel inspired, get some work done, follow it, use it. Because if you wait too long, you'll go back to this wallowing resentment again. Find the more positive spin on these memories that can keep inspiring you. Keep engaging creatively to move forward, and you may find that the inspiration and the drive to move forward and to be kinder to yourself starts coming more naturally again. Taurus, you have drawn the Jovian of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, the inverted Wheel of Fortune, the inverted Sister of Wands, the Amazon of Wands, and the Turtle. These three all very much tell the same story. We'll get there in a moment. The Jovian of Pentacles is the King of Pentacles. And as a king, it's a card of abundance and stability, accountability, efficiency. Your resources are sacred. Treat them with respect and care. You've not been frivolous. You've not felt the need to pinch every penny either. You understand where you sit in terms of all of your resources. You're in a good spot. You've been abundant. You've achieved some amount of success according to the Six of Wands, and you understand that you did not get here alone. You are acknowledging and sharing your success with the people around you who helped you, whether it was emotional support, whether they actually physically helped you complete whatever project and reach whatever goal, whatever the case may be. However, I'm wondering if this success and this achievement of the Six of Wands perhaps had you feeling like you were closer to the end of the goal than you actually were. It is still an important milestone that you've reached, but I think maybe having reached this milestone, you've almost tripped yourself up and overhyped yourself to think you were nearly done when maybe you were only halfway through. The inverted Wheel of Fortune and the inverted Sister of Wands and the inverted Turtle all say that you have stagnated. You've lost your direction a little bit and you've wavered, which is okay. It's natural. It happens. You've still achieved a lot. You're not quite to the end yet, but you've come a very long way, and that's still something to be proud of. And you've earned a break, and that is part of your counsel here. Enjoy the success you've achieved so far. Spend time with others and thank everybody who played a part, and let yourself have an adventure. The Amazon of Wands and the Turtle both counsel that you need some sort of an adventure right now. You need a break, you need a vacation. Pick somewhere you've always wanted to go, maybe somewhere you love that you've been before, but it's been quite some time, or a place you've never been and have always been excited to see for yourself. It doesn't matter what that place is, as long as it's something you want, however long you feel comfortable doing it, but you have the resources to be able to do it. Take a break and have an adventure, because in doing so, it might help you refresh from the work you've done and be able to come back and look at the rest of your path completely re-energized and ready to tackle it. You're gonna come back from this vacation and go, why was I so stressed? I'm further along now than I have left to go. I can totally do this. And you'll march right along, and it'll be like nothing was ever a concern. Enjoy your success. Know honestly how much you've achieved and how far you've come. Be proud of yourself. And take that little break so you can be ready to do the rest of the work for a bigger, well-earned vacation at the end. Gemini, you have drawn for this season the Three of Swords, the Six of Cups, the Ace of Wands in reverse, Lovers in reverse, and the Cheetah out of balance. The Three of Swords is one of the saddest cards for me to see come up, because it is just purely a card of heartbreak and grief. You've been through something very difficult recently, Gemini, and you need time to recover from that, whatever it is. First and foremost, that's what you need to do, is remember that grieving is different for everyone, and everyone grieves and recovers at their own pace in whatever way makes the most sense for them. Thus, don't let anyone else tell you that it's time to get over it before you're ready. And know that the grief is never truly gone. The rest of your life is just going to slowly make it seem less and less in helping you recover and start to move forward again as you're ready. The Six of Cups, I read kind of differently for the previous reading that pulled it, but the phrase that came to mind immediately was, don't lose faith in the kindness of others. I'm thinking that this heartbreak and this grief is perhaps the result of unfortunate interactions with another person. You were perhaps taken advantage of or betrayed by another individual, perhaps a group. Someone betrayed you. They led you to believe one thing and then ripped the curtain away very painfully, and you're dealing with the ramifications of all of that. You're probably dealing with a lot of doubt about yourself in these terms. Do not lose faith in the kindness of others. In spite of what you have been through, there are good people in your life who only mean the best and want to see you succeed and grow in exactly the same way that you want success and growth for them. And it's okay to lean on others for support right now. And somewhere in your heart, you know who those people are. But of course, with what you've been through, your light has dwindled a bit. You're lacking inspiration and passion and the motivation to really do a lot of things. And understandably, relationships have been broken and tainted. So you need to look around and remind yourself who the right people still are. There has to be someone. And no matter how many good people there are still in your life, you always have your own heart and your own intuition that you can follow. You are the one person you will spend your entire life with, and thus you're the one person you always need to be able to rely on. So if nothing else, this time can serve to help strengthen your own bonds and self-love and self-confidence. But I highly suspect there are plenty of other people around who, whether or not they know about this particular situation, will not hesitate to be available for you and to help you without any ulterior motives. The cheetah is achievement. It's bright, hot energy. It's solar energy. It's a very masculine and active card. And it counsels that in order to recover, along with what I've already mentioned, you need to remember your why. You need to reconnect with your purpose. Why do you believe the things you believe? Why do you treat others the way you do? Why do you move through the world in the ways that have become so natural? Why are the goals you have so important? Find the people who are really your people in your life and let them help you remember why you do what you do, why you are who you are. And I think you'll find some of the energy starting to come back in order to keep manifesting those dreams. And finally, we have Cancer, who has drawn the Five of Cups, the Moon, the inverted Junonian of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords, the Three of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles, along with the animal spirit of the lizard. The Five of Cups is a card of loss. And however big or small this loss is, it feels significant to you. But it is also a reminder that not all has been lost in whatever the situation is. Most depictions I see of this card, there are 5 cups depicted, 3 have been knocked over, but 2 still stand and are still full. And it's a visual reminder that there are pieces that can be picked up. There is still something to salvage and something that can be used to move forward. The moon, however, shows that there is some worry and some fear, perhaps, that is clouding your judgment and your perception of whether or not you can move forward. You perhaps are envisioning too big of a gap between who you are and where you are now and who and where you want to be in however long. You're not seeing a clear path from one to the other. You're merely seeing all of the disparity between the two situations and perhaps starting to believe that you might never get there. The inverted Queen of Pentacles is smothering, working without reward. It's an imbalance of your work life compared to the rest of your life. It signifies that perhaps in kind of dealing with this mental state, you're not quite taking care of yourself. You've gotten out of some of the routines that you need to follow, and you're being overly hard on yourself. And this in turn leads us to the Eight of Swords. You feel stuck, and you have more agency to get out of your current situation than you've allowed yourself to believe. Partially because instead of sitting back and really looking at the whole situation and trying to see those solutions, you've panicked and you're only seeing what's right in front of you, and what's right in front of you is what you don't have. The Three of Wands is a card of deliberate, dedicated work. It's an earlier step in the journey. It's perhaps you needing to reset a little bit, go back to the beginnings of whatever path or project, and really look at how much you've already done along the way. Because the Nine of Pentacles says you're actually pretty close. There's a lot that you've already done, and you need to recognize that and be proud of yourself for it. Rather than focusing so hard on what you have yet to do, focus on what you've already achieved. I think it'll help you shift your focus to understanding what you still have at your disposal, and perhaps even that you have less distance to go now than you have behind you that you've already traveled. You are still absolutely capable of reaching your goal in spite of whatever loss, setback, obstacle has derailed you. The lizard is instinctual. He is sensitive to subtleties. He's a dreamer. He's artistic, empathic, very good at reading situations and sensing whatever changes are going on in a room or in people's behavior. You need to pull back, widen your view of the situation as the rest of the spread. He's saying exactly the same thing. Widen your view of the situation. Really look at all the details. Don't get so lost in the details you forget the big picture. And get creative. Whether it's a side thing to help you take a break so you can come back with a fresh mindset to really understand where you sit and be refreshed to move forward again, or if it's taking a more creative approach to what you have left of your path in order to reach your goal now that you don't have something at your disposal that you previously thought you would be available. Creativity is what's called for here. Creativity and a really solid and clear understanding of where you actually sit. So I think you'll find that you're on more solid ground than you thought. And there we have our 12 readings for the Western Zodiac signs for the season of Lughnasadh. I do hope you found whatever guidance you felt you needed for this season in at least one of the readings herein. There were very similar themes through them, many of them dealing with needing to refocus your perspective of your situation and find whatever strength or skill or resource has been missing that has been available to you all this time in order to be able to start moving forward again. The tools are there, and every one of you watching has every capability of taking hold of your circumstances and regaining momentum to achieve whatever you have set out to do. I wish you all the best that this first harvest season has to offer, and I will have more readings for you at Samhain on October 31st. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'm sure you know where the buttons and the links are to show me that love, but if nothing else, I hope you will subscribe if you have not done so already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a video. If you'd like to see more content like this, I have my divination playlist linked in the cards and in the description below, where you can also find my Linktree portal to keep up with my adventures on other social media planes. As always, I would like to give a huge special thanks to my coven of patrons, who are my longest running supporters. And if you, dear viewer, would like to join their ranks, again, check that Linktree for my Patreon, which begins at $1 per month. Thanks again. Stay tuned for more Breath of the Wild VODs, as well as the vlogs for our recent trip to Walt Disney World and the creation vlogs of Sybil's snood and hat. And I shall speak to you all again very soon. Keep aiming, my loves, and blessed